You are never alone. You are never alone. Just reach into your heart and Allah is always there. You are never alone. You are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode of Family Issues. Dear brothers and sisters, as we've been doing in the past episodes here in the program, we've been waiting for your suggestions and you have been the ones choosing the topics here, and we are continuing in this frame. And the topic that you chose is how to get our kids ready for the exams, as we are in test or exam periods at the moment here in the Middle East and in many areas and regions around the globe. How to prepare our kids, our children for the exams, what is the best way to motivate them psychologically while at the same time not pressure them too much. What do exams really represent? Are they really the main criteria behind a kid's intelligence, the tips before the exams, and what also programs should we prepare ourselves with as our children get into exam period. We do thank you for watching us, and we do remind you that we'll be ready to receive your phone calls and your emails live here in the program. The numbers are on the screen right now, the phone numbers. You can also contact us via email and via our Facebook account. And we are very glad to have with us here in this episode a teacher, as you might have guessed, and he is Brother Abdul Salam Abdul Khabir, a teacher of English, math, and science, a class teacher at an Islamic school here in Egypt, and he is a Muslim from Chicago, from the US. Brother Abdul Salam, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us here in the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, brother. Jazakumullahu khairan. You must be preparing exams at the moment for your students. So let's start by you. Let's start by the teacher. What does exam period mean for a teacher? How do you get yourself ready to write an exam, and how do you do it?
Well, you know, we just really base it off of the lessons that we taught them all quarter, you know. So we've been teaching them all quarter from our curriculum, and then we just get those lessons and we look at the really important parts of that lesson, the main part of the lessons, and then we just try to combine it in a way that is very beneficial for the child, and that will give us an idea of the level of that child. Because, you know, it's a test, so it's not going to tell you everything that they're thinking, and it's just something to give us an indicator of, you know, what level the child is at, you know?
Right. You teach grade 1.
Yeah.
Correct. And that must be difficult.
Yes, and sometimes, you know,
beautiful age, but a difficult one to teach.
Because they're inquiring, and they're interested in pretty much everything, and why is this and why is that? And they have so much energy, you know, they have so much energy, alhamdulillah, mashallah. So it's good, so you kind of direct them, and it's, you know, I feel it's very rewarding, you know, because the ideas that you're teaching them and the principles that you're attempting to instill in them, inshallah, it'll be the foundation for many things in their lives, you know. You never know, one of your students can end up doing great things and helping many people, you know. And to think, you know, that inshallah will contribute to, something good in this individual and the individual students. Alhamdulillah, it's beautiful.
Indeed. Now, getting a kid ready for exams is the responsibility of the school and the family as well. How is the responsibility shared between the school and home?
Yeah, see, we have this thing actually in our school. We call it the golden triangle. Okay, so you have the student, and then you have the parent, and you have the school, and this relationship is very important. If one falls off, then it means less for the child. So you have to communicate with the parents and let them know the lessons, and then when the parent gets their child and they pick them up, take them home and everything, then they have to, okay, what did you study? And they have to help them with their homework and help them prepare, and then they bring them right back to school, and then we communicate with the child. So it's a communication between all three parties, and this is really important. You find that the parents who are more interested in their child, when they call, okay, well, he didn't quite get this yesterday, and can you help him out with this? And I felt that he was weak on this. I was helping him with his homework, and those kids are the ones who do the best. They're the ones who do the best in the exams, actually. Yeah.
Now, obviously, there are some parents who follow up with their kids at home regularly, and others let that responsibility on the school or the child himself or herself, because they want him or her to be responsible. In your view, what is the best method?
Well, it depends on, you always should encourage your child. And then it also depends on the age of your child. If you have a 6-year-old, he's not going to know what his homework is. He's going to go home and, so we, if we don't write it in the book, okay, this is what he's studying today, this is what he needs to bring tomorrow, then he doesn't really care. Okay, he just wants to play soccer and eat and have fun. So I think that the parent really needs to be there. What is your homework? What did you do in class? Okay, let's see what open this book. Okay, read this. And they have to be the coach at home. It's so important for the younger ones. Now, once you get into the higher grades, and when you get into grade 6, grade 7 even, then you should say, okay, did you do your homework? How come you're not doing your homework? Come on, walk by you see him watching TV. Hey, wait, did you do your homework? But they know just where to go. They know just what they're supposed to be doing. So it's not, it's not the same.
Right. What about in between? I mean,
and it's a spectrum from this, the first grade to the higher grades, and the more they go, they advance. The more they advance, the less you have to, baby them, because but you still have to watch
obviously. Them. But what do you do with a grade 4 or 5 or 6 student? I mean, do you let him or her take the responsibility and get the punishment because he or she didn't do the homework, or do you follow up?
Oh, you got to follow up, and you must. I strongly encourage the parents to, be there with their child, because at home this is so important, and the ones who work with the child and the ones who didn't, and sometimes the parent or the parents, they might be busy. They might both have to work. What if they both have to work? They come home tired, but do what they can. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen them and help them in raising their child. Give them the energy to just sit with them, even if it's for 15 minutes, even 10 minutes. What are you doing? Let me see you. Did you do your homework? Just even ask those questions. Inshallah, and inshallah they'll, when they see the care and the dedication from their parents' side and from the school, and then they will
realize how important this is.
They They do most of the time, yeah.
Indeed. Now, from your experience, we know that there are schools who where kids stay up late, so they don't usually they could do their homeworks. It's not a homework then; it's a schoolwork, I guess. They could do the everything they were assigned to at school. Others take private lessons in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and others have their parents helping them.
Yeah.
A father or mother who is brilliant, for instance, in math, or good at English, or understands physics, and so on. From your experience, which way usually gives us the most efficient academic students?
Well, there's no like cookie cutter, way to just say, okay, this is the best way. It's whatever works for the student, The parents, you might have the, parents who care and say, okay, well, I'm going to get an after-school program for my child. I've seen some parents, they get a tutor for their child, and they say, okay, well, he's learning this and that, okay, I'll get a tutor. And then some parents, they have the time and say, okay, I'm going to tutor my child, So I think it's the caring. If the parent cares, they'll find a way to navigate and make sure the child is doing what they're supposed to be doing to achieve those good grades. And to the grades just reflect their intellect, so that they understand. I often see a trend of just memorizing what they're going to have on the test and memorizing. But I like to challenge the students, even the young ones, to think critically. Why? Okay, so and I give them scenarios. What can we do today to save energy? Me and my students, we were going over conservation and conserving energy. And I said, okay, so what can we do right now? And they start thinking, oh, this is not on a test. You didn't write this down. No, but what can we do?
Yeah,
you just learned this.
Right,
and start to think.
sometimes you'll hear beautiful ideas.
Yeah, they start to think, mashallah, and yeah, they come up with stuff. Oh, we can turn off the lights, and then we can open the curtain and let the sun shine in, and so on. So they start to use this information, just thinking differently outside of the box. Now,
you've said, Brother Abdul Salam, more than once that the grades the kids get is just an indicator of their intellect. So, what other ways can we measure their intellect?
Yeah, I think the testing is the best way, actually, but also observation, and I believe that each person has a gift, and then you watch them over time and you try to find out what that gift is. This child may not be so good in math, but they're excellent in English, and vice versa. Or you might have a child who can't read very well, but in computers, mashallah. So I think the parents should look for the gift in their child. Some parents might say, oh, well, my child, he's not really that smart. But if you watch, you may see, this is what this child is gifted with. So I often find that in my students. The first glance, you say, oh, this student is just a mediocre student or something like that. But over the quarter, you watch their behavior. You watch them, oh, look at him. Look at how he's so attentive to computers. And he's, like this. And you're like, wow, mashallah. You see each child, they have something special. They have a gift.
SubhanAllah.
And you have to watch.
So once I've spotted that gift, do I focus on it, or do I try to find ways to improve his or her level in different subjects so as to balance things out and to make sure that you have a cocktail of knowledge? Yeah,
definitely. I would, once you find that gift out, find out what they're doing that's exceptional. That's more than the average person, or something that they like and they're good at. And then you definitely nurture it. You put these things in their environment to help them. If you have a kid if he likes computers, then you put, make sure he has one available, inshallah, if you can afford it, inshallah. And then you give him extra little things. You don't force him down that road. You just put those things in his environment, and inshallah, he or she will naturally gravitate to that which they are good at. And I remember my mother doing that with myself, my brothers and my sisters and myself. The things that we were good at, she would just put these things in our environment. And then over the years, mashallah, you see development, special skills develops in these areas, and it's, mashallah, they really blossom, they really bloom, mashallah.
Right. Now back to refocusing on how to get kids ready for exam time.
Yeah.
Sometimes some parents pressure kids too much at an early age. They want their kids to get the highest grades, but they do it in a manner that makes life at home like a prison. And others are so aware of that point, they relax so much that they leave things up for grabs. So how do we approach this? And is there specifically a certain time where kids have to study, meaning an hour per day, 2 hours per day, increase that time before exams? What do we do about that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like some parents, they may be too strict and they put too much pressure, and on the other hand, you have others who, they're too lax, right? So the middle ground, right, is the best. The middle way is the best way, right? So I would encourage the parents to motivate their children in more than one way. You have to have a set program. When you come home, you study, and not just for the testing, but you come home, you study, you do this, you have a program for them, because children, they really respond to a structure, right?
So there could be a constructive routine.
Yeah, there should be, every day, not only for exams. But then you tell them, hey, okay, I'll give you, a present. if you do well on your exams, you can, have a dish party or get that new video game that you wanted to get, or something like that. You motivate them with positive motivation as well, and at the same time make sure that they do their homework and they stick to their program and fulfill all of the homework obligations that they have to.
Right. I think we have a phone call now. Brother Abdul Salam, live with us is Mr. Brother Mustafa Moore, and he's calling us from the US, correct? Brother Mustafa, go ahead. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for watching us. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I'd like to say salam alaikum to the audience and all of you guests. Jazakallah khairan for accepting my call.
Jazakallah khairan.
This is a tough time for the children, but it's not an impossible time. But they have to come up with a schedule for themselves, something that's suitable, something that, if possible, maybe them and their parents can sit down and make it together, but make sure that they're a part of it, so that it won't be something like tyranny. We don't want the parents to, to dictate the whole thing. We want the children to have a part in it, and let them sit together and come up with a good schedule. And the best thing that the parent could do is to sit with the child and even if they don't do too much, just show the child that they're being supportive and that they're there for them.
Beautiful.
These children, they have to stop being so lazy. It's not this is one of the bigger problems.
Yes.
They think that everything is just given to them and they get an automatic A. But no, you have to work for it. Like the Prophet alayhi salam said, we tie our camels and then to walk along Allah. So it's not just or anything goes. No, you have to tie your camel and then to walk along Allah. And may Allah be kind with these children and help them with their exams and
brother, thank you.
Not kidding.
Thank you very much, brother Mustafa Moore from the U.S. I mean, for your beautiful comments here. I think very, very important advice there. The parents have to let the children also take part in decision making and in arranging schedules for exams, and but at the same time, let them feel responsible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and mashallah, the brother had a very good point. Kids are kids, and it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that or give them the best chance that they can to be successful academically, inshallah. So, like the brother said, you do have to be serious. Not too serious, don't make life too difficult, but you must be serious. We must be serious with the children and show that we are seriously concerned and that, they can't be lazy, they have to do their work. When you look at people who are successful academically through history, you see that they had someone in their lives, hey, if you get a bad grade, you're on punishment. Okay, you can't go out and play. You can't do these things. If you're capable of getting that good grade,
right.
Then you must do your best. You must instill in these children to do their best, and then after that, you make dua.
Right.
You make supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah to help. But like the brother said, tie your camel. Let them know, hey, you must do your work. Let them know that this is serious.
That leads to many fights, though. I mean, you must be aware. A parent is many times stuck between, feeling the responsibility of, having to guide his or her child to success as much as he or she knows, but at the same time, they don't want the kids to be to hate them for this,
and they hate math, and they hate all the social studies.
Exactly, and you have kids who are so energetic that they just don't want to sit.
Yeah,
I mean, they study for 15 or 30 minutes maximum, and then they take a 10-minute break that gets into 2 hours. So and you have to shout and
I mean, parenting is not an easy job, and at the same time, it can be a very fun job too, because, like, again, I teach 6-year-olds. They're 6 and 7-year-olds. So you have to be creative. If you think they're just going to sit there and write on a piece of paper, this is a dream. This is not realistic, right? So you have to, take them out in the garden, and I'm teaching them force, on one of the lessons. So I get a ball, and then I throw it at them, and they say, catch it. That was a slow speed. That was a fast speed. And because there are different learners. So you have to take them, outside, take them out of the little shell, still teach them, but, do something that's fun too. And then at the same time, bring it right back around to that paper again. And so you vary the lessons, and you don't have to just, this strict regiment like this. You do have to have things structured, but you can go outside the box. You can have fun,
Right. Brother Absalam, we have with us another call, and it is Brother Shaukat from Nigeria. Jawda from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for calling us. Go ahead. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
wa barakatuh.
I really appreciate the
Thank you, brother.
And it's a good program. I just called it.
But
It's a very good and wonderful program. I think people have. And
Barakallahu
very
feekum, brother.
impressive. and I think we should keep.
I'm so sorry for that. I think the phone line was disconnected. We thank you very much, Brother Joda from Nigeria for your phone call, and we're going to be discussing more about that issue that you chose, dear brothers and sisters, our dear viewers. For this episode, we'll be back with Brother Abdul Salam Abdul Khabir, class teacher here at an Islamic school in Egypt. After this short break, dear brothers and sisters, so please do stay with us. Assalamu alaikum.
Never alone. You are never alone. You are never alone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Brother Abdul Salam, what is the atmosphere that we should provide at home for kids to get ready for exams, especially when you have brothers and sisters and so on, younger ones who are running around and sometimes it's difficult to concentrate for the child. I mean, is there a specific area where the child should be studying, and how do we get that fixed? And we don't want him or her also to get bored. I mean, we don't want to close the door and lock the key and so on. So how do we, the scene and the atmosphere?
It should, inshallah, if you can manage, if you have small children, sometimes it's difficult, but inshallah, if you can manage to have a quiet place, a quiet place, very bright lights, a brightly lighted place, and have all of the study materials there, have all the things that they need there, and a comfortable place for them to sit and study, and not only the physical atmosphere, but create a mental atmosphere of, okay, this is the time, it's time to study, it's time to learn, we're in test time now, this is an important time, it's not a long time, we might only have a week or two to really get everything together, and then afterward we'll be relaxed and go into summer, inshallah. So you create that atmosphere for them mentally and physically and spiritually, You make dua, you make prayer with them after, you sit down with them and make prayer with them and supplicate with them. And so you create...
And you're teaching them a very important principle there. Again, the issue of you have to do your best and then pray to Allah the Almighty that you'll be successful. And it just teaches the children at a very early age that everything is in the hands of Allah.
Yes.
But at the same time, Allah has ordered us that you have to do your best.
This is a very important point. You can say, oh, inshallah, I'm going to play. I'll do good, inshallah. Allah's kind. He'll bestow on me, everything I need. I'm going to go play soccer and, No. We have to, do both. And inshallah, this principle, inshallah, they will teach to their family and their kids. So it's a very important thing to show them the care and to show them the interest in academia.
Brother Abdul Salam, brothers and sisters, we have with us now Dr. Mahmoud Ad-Dinawi, a professor at Al-Azhar University, lecturer of Islamic Studies. Thank you very much, Dr. Dinawi. Jazakumullahu khairan for joining us here. And we're talking about getting our kids ready for exam time. Your advice, how to get them psychologically and academically ready, Dr. Dinawi.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad, and first of all, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to you, welcome to your wonderful guest, and actually, we know that most homes nowadays having exams and having some little bit headache in a way but the best thing to make our children have this, first of all, we have to prepare the good environment for them, right? Like parents and fathers and mothers should do their best to prepare a good environment for them, to help them, to teach them how to study, and to always remind them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised the status of scholars, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raised the status of knowledge. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in the hadith, the one who seeks knowledge, he will be blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Angels, even whales, as the hadith says, are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive the one who is seeking knowledge and the one who is on the way of being a scholar in a way. So also children or they should have a good sleep in order to be able to concentrate. And they also should avoid anything that would disturb them, like music or whatever. We just need to focus. Whenever we are focusing on our studies and we are doing our best, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will facilitate the way and will give us more success, as He says in the Quran, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. We will never let those who work hard, their work or their efforts will go in vain.
Barakallahu fikum, Dr. Dinawi, and mentioning a very important point there about sleeping time. I have a follow-up question, Dr. Dinawi, if you are still with us. And I'm going to pose that to you as well, Brother Abdul Salam, because I think it's something that we all pass through. Now you have your kid who hasn't studied all what he has to, but he needs to sleep. You know that he hasn't finished revision, but so you have that 1 or 2 extra hours, and you don't know whether it's better for him or her to sleep or to continue to revise what you know that he or she is still missing. So what do we do in that case?
So it's better anyway, as we always say in your very nice program, and we need to teach them the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said, Barakallahu liman fi bukuhi. Allah bless those who wake up early. And it was the habit of the companions and the pious people, to sleep early and wake up early. I can't let children, for example, go until midnight or maybe more than this. So they will wake up again tired and they will not be able to study. So, and also everything, when we have a kind of plan, if we have a good plan for our studies, definitely we are going to have, inshallah, full success.
Indeed. Barakallahu fikum, Dr. Mahmoud Dinawi, Professor at Al-Azhar University, Lecturer of Islamic Studies. Thank you very much. The same question, Brother Abdul Salam. We know that we shouldn't reach that stage, but this is what happens a lot, especially with older kids. I mean, maybe grade 7s, 8s, 9s. You know that they might be missing something because they were absent in some school days, or something that they didn't really grasp or understand very well. So you're just working on it so as to make sure that they do before they go to exam time. Maybe they played too much and they want to catch up with, with what they've missed. So how do you make that decision? Do you let them go and sleep? Because, I mean, obviously, if you don't have enough sleep, you could mess up even in things that you know very well. But if you don't revise that 1 or 2 chapters, and then the exam, 25% of the exam comes here, you could really lose your grades.
Yeah.
So what do we do in that case?
Well, mashallah, like the brother said, like the professor said, you know, to wake up early, okay, and to go to sleep early. So in that case, I would recommend that, you know, let them go to sleep, because after a certain amount of time, if you're really sleepy and you need sleep, your brain is not going to
function anymore.
It's not going to function correctly. You're going to be wasting your time.
Correct.
And wake up earlier than usual. Maybe they can go to sleep. Okay, then after Fajr, okay, be sure don't sleep. Okay, read some Quran, and then after Quran, let's catch up on that extra homework that you missed, you know. And then your brain has, you know, relaxed and it's gotten its rest and it's rejuvenated and replenished, inshallah. And then I think they'll be better. So yeah, go to sleep and wake up early and do it.
Although from experience, but maybe this is with that could be applicable, I think, to university students more.
Yeah,
if you study, if you study something and sleep on it, it usually, you know, the saving in our brains.
About it.
Yeah, exactly. So the storage is usually more efficient than if you study it, you know, just 2 or 3 hours before the exam. If you sleep on it just for one day,
no, they must.
Yeah.
No, have them study before they go to sleep.
Yeah.
Study when they wake up. You know, study. You know what I mean? Yes.
But not at the expense of sleeping time. I know this is controversial and this is difficult,
Maybe a little,
but it does happen a lot.
Yeah.
So what do we sacrifice? Do we sacrifice an hour of sleep, or do we sacrifice some information in some chapter or two?
Yeah, I mean, like if you have a 6-year-old, you know, you're going to study till midnight, mister. No, I'm joking.
I'm talking about
the
an 11, 12, 13.
I think the older that a person gets, the more tolerant they are to staying up later. But the ideal hours, I think, to study is in the morning. In the morning, and really, if you really want to study well, you get up in the night. You go to sleep early, you know. You go to sleep after Isha, then you wake up in the night. You know, you do some praying, and then you do some studying. You can wake up. Well, actually, right now here, Fajr is like around 3.
Yeah, correct.
3, close to 3:30. But wake up around this time.
Actually, it's closer to 3 a.m.
Yeah, I know it's just mashallah, it's moving. But you wake up before Fajr. I mean, and the older that they get, they should. We should get, because I don't do it all the time either. Make dua for me that I wake up in the night and pray. But you wake up and then really study more. These times are beautiful. Everyone's asleep. It's very quiet. You have your concentration after your prayer, and if you read something, there's nothing else to do. So you can really focus on your studies. And these are for the older students, who's finishing up that high school and they're moving, getting closer to college.
What are the common mistakes, Brother Abdul Salam, that you see your students doing in exams? I mean, most of the grades they lose, in your view, is it because they were not concentrating enough during exam time? Is it because they didn't study enough at home? Is it because they didn't understand the principles and never, and their parents were not aware of that fact? I mean, what are the main reasons behind low grades?
Okay, you have different people, different achievers. You have some people who, they have they're naturally good at certain things, and that's from Allah.
Subhanallah.
You can if you have someone who's weak in an area, you can help them, you can strengthen them. That's one thing. But when you talk about someone who has the ability to, and they're not achieving like they're supposed to be achieving, there are various factors, I believe, that contribute to this. One, they're not serious. Children don't want to do homework. Okay, bottom line, you have exceptions, but for the most part, they don't want to study. So the seriousness lies in the parents. This is where the seriousness comes from, and you have to instill that into the child. So they don't want to study. They want the good grade, but they don't want to study. So I think the first thing I see is lack of seriousness. And they're children. You don't expect them to be, but it has to be communicated from the parent that this is serious. Secondly, honestly, I think it's people with different aptitudes. You have people who people are at different levels, and you kind of watch a child and you see how
sometimes
they
you feel
progress.
that a student. But before I ask that, sorry, allow me to take in a dear caller.
Okay.
We have with us Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you for calling us, and go ahead. Alaikum
How are you, brother?
Yes, you are on air.
Yeah, my question is, I'm living in Saudi Arabia. My kids are studying in Saudi Arabic medium, Saudi syllabus. In the Saudi syllabus, for the kindergarten and the primary up to grade 4, they don't have any exams like any other international schools. So this education system is Sharia based, like they have Quran, Tafsir, and Aqidah, Fiqh, so many subjects in addition to the regular science and mathematics, English subjects.
Yes.
So do you think like these kids up to grade 4, do they need to have exams? Like because they have assessments end of the year, but they don't have exams like in other international schools.
Yes.
What do you think about this?
Thank you very much, Brother Muhammad. Brother Abdul Salam would be answering you. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I know in other countries, I've heard that,
there is an assessment, but there is no exam.
I've heard it's in other countries, they have the similar type of system. And like I said, I think, the exam is just, especially for the younger ones, you know, it's something to kind of get an idea, like the assessment. But it really doesn't, you know, tell you everything about them. It doesn't tell you how intelligent they are. You know?
Yeah, I mean for grade 2, for instance, I mean, what does it tell you that if this kid got 18 out of 20 and that kid 16 and a half? I mean, how can, sometimes you just get that,
I mean, that's just how it is sometimes.
But if somebody gets 5 out of 20, then you know that there is a
there's an issue there. It gives them practice. You know, grade 1, grade 2, it gives them practice really on how to take exams, how to study. But if they're studying every day and you're with them and they're doing little quizzes and they're doing their work in their book, then you get a kind of an idea of where they are, you know. And the exam, you know, it's just, you know, 1 or 2 weeks or so. So they're not going to just immediately, you know, become super intelligent in that time. It's a gradual process anyway. So the exams are important, but for the younger ones, I don't think it's super important.
Yeah, so you don't see a problem there?
No, no. Yeah. As long as they're learning, that's important, that they're taking in the knowledge, that they're comprehending.
And I guess parents can assess whether their kids are at this very young age are learning or not. I mean, it's easy for parents. They don't have to be geniuses in algebra or physics, or literature to know.
Just talk to them.
Yeah.
What did you study today? Oh, I studied about this. Just talk to them. You're going to know if they're getting it or if they're not getting it.
Right.
You can have a little conversation with them and talk about their subject. What did you study? Come on. What did you study today, you know?
Yeah.
And then you look in the book and you ask them a question. Yeah. And so you know if they're advancing or not advancing.
Exactly, because I mean, and I would assume that Brother Muhammad's kids, for instance, if he says, if he's talking to them and says Prophet Muhammad, they would automatically go Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he would know that you know, things are moving on the right track, and they might even tell him about a story, for instance, the Hijrah story. Or
MashaAllah, when you know, when I look at these coming from America, okay, where it's big on academics, but you know, Islam is coming along. You know, it's not like here in the East. MashaAllah, when I look at these kids, you know, I'll mention something and they'll just begin to recite Quran. I mean, these are my 6-year-old students, you know, and they'll, you know, yes, mister. And they'll, you know,
I know that.
You know, and then they'll recite Quran so beautifully, MashaAllah. So this is something, I see the young ones, they love to show what they've learned. So even the Islamic studies.
What's the best age for memorizing Quran, by the way, as far as you
I think you should start as soon as they can start talking. And before then, play Quran for them. I have a little son, he's like 1.5 now. You know, he's starting to talk and stuff. And he responds, he listens to Quran, he tries to read some Quran. He says, you know, little mashallah, everyone say mashallah, you know.
Exactly.
He tries to say little things from Quran, and so
it's also usually beautiful if you have a very young kid and you know that they can't read or write at the moment, but they memorize a certain surah, and so they open the Quran and they tell you, hey, where is Surah Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad? And then as if they are reading it.
They're looking at Baqarah.
Exactly, but they're just memorizing it.
It's beautiful, man. So, I mean, I would say, you know, just play Quran, recite Quran, even like encourage the mother when the baby's in the stomach to let her recite Quran. She should recite Quran, and then when they come out, play Quran for them, and you know, it becomes something that they like and that is beautiful for them. And so I don't think there's an age to start. I think, you know, as soon as possible.
Right, Brother Absalam, as we wind up here, the motivation. I mean, how do the punishments and the rewards, how do we go about that? Should the reward, for instance, for a good report card or good grades be gifts, be a trip, be you know, taking them out, and should the punishment be preventing them from playing the sport they like or watching TV, or could this backfire on both roads?
Yeah, I think we definitely should give them rewards. for doing their best to motivate them. You can give a pen, just a little pen, a 4-color pen or something, just to say, to show them.
And when I say rewards, even rewards can backfire. Obviously, obviously punishments can backfire.
But you have to put them in the right place.
But even rewards, sometimes you find the kids, getting so greedy. So
I did good. I want to give.
And they want to reward each and every day.
No. So you have to, gauge it, and you also, like if you have a child, they didn't do their homework. They weren't trying, they weren't taking it seriously, and then they get a bad grade. It's like,
you shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be surprised, and you say, okay, well, they should get some kind of, punishment. Not anything severe, but let them know that you're displeased, And at the same time, if the child is doing well, you give them, you can do something small for them, something unusual that they never usually do, You take them out to a restaurant or something like that, and
but you agree that you shouldn't overdo it.
Yeah, you shouldn't overdo it.
Even in rewards.
Yeah. Because the reward is doing well, but you should show them, but you should not overdo it, And inshallah, when they, you find that education, alhamdulillah, the way the system of the world allows me, the system of the world, the ones, many people who get education, Allah opens knowledge, Allah opens many doors for them. So you can give the child a taste of that, if they do well, you take them out, or you cook the dinner that they like, or give them a little gift. And at the same time, if they do bad, and don't be too hard on them, but do let them know that you are displeased, and encourage them. Encourage them too, and let them, during the time that they're studying is the time, because afterward it's,
Final question. Usually you have at home as a stricter parent with the kids, a stricter father or a stricter mother. So how would you advise on the distribution of roles when it comes to kids studying?
You have to be unified. The parents, inshallah, if both the parents are home and, in the home, they have to be unified. They have to talk beforehand, because if you say, you must do this, or if you become strict, then automatically the child is going to look at the other parent to see, is this parent, it's going to try to find that open door and escape and go play. So they have to be unified and work together and have a plan and make sure that the child is getting the benefit out of their educational program.
Barakallahu feekum, brother. Thank you very much, Brother Abdul Salam Abdul Khabir, teacher, class teacher at an Islamic school here in Egypt. Brother Abdul Salam is an American from Chicago, whom we are lucky to have here in Egypt. Thank you very much, Brother Abdul Salam, for joining us. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wishing to see you again, inshallah. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for choosing this topic. And thank you for watching our program. Make sure to catch us again same time next week, inshallah. And please do keep your suggestions flowing at our to our emails, email addresses, familyissues@huda.tv, and also our Facebook account, because we will be continuing to filter out the ideas you're sending to us, and choose the best of them here, and see the most redundant of them to choose them to become our main topics. Thank you for watching Family Issues. Until we meet again next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Never alone, you are never alone. Through sorrow and through grief, through happiness and peace, you are never alone. So now, as you long for your past, prepare for your future, but knowing nothing's gonna last. You see, this life is but a road, a straight and narrow path to our final abode. So travel well, O Muslim, and paradise will be your home. And always remember that you are never